That's so sentimental. I love that. I suppose the reason my work is unique, other than I base it on my hometown, which, Farmington needs some love, which is awesome, is I work with children. I worked with children my whole life, even my younger cousins, and I can't do just a one or two genre piece. I have to have something for everyone, because I understand that some people aren't avid readers like myself, and that's okay. So even though my work is primarily paranormal, romance, mystery, I've got, there's school life, there's slice of life, there's lots of comedy, because, everybody likes that person that makes them laugh. And I started realizing that I'm a nerd and I should be proud of that, so I write for nerds. And again, that's with the Big Bang Theory, which I think that's what that started with. I mean, we're taking over the world, and I think that's fantastic. So that's one of the reasons I think that my work is unique. And my main character cusses with food, because I don't curse. So when she's mad, she yells, "Fudge nuggets!" And my kids really like when she yells and curses with food, so they start saying it.
All right, thank you. Do you guys have any questions? Not yet?
You don't buy, not yet.
No?
Any day but Tuesday, yes. Okay.
Okay. Well, I do have a second question, and the title of the panel is Making a Living You Love with a Creative Medium, and you can't make a living without being able to sell your work. And so, is it the uniqueness that sells your work, or is it that it's popular and mainstream? My question is, then, what balance do you try to strike, or what balance have you had to strike between selling your work, or changing it to sell it, and keeping that uniqueness in it?
Let's see, I've always been told, and I always think that this is good advice, I write as if no one else is ever going to read it, because I want to write, it sounds pretty selfish, but I want to write what I want to read, and I don't really care too much if someone's not, because there's a lot of stuff in my books that a lot of people aren't going to like, cursing or whatever, because I wanted to get the language realistic. I mean, they're fighting to the death against these robots, and they're not going to be like, oh, gee, golly whiz, no, I hate that stuff with a passion. So, so when I let people read it, because I think that's a lot better than trying to explain it to them, a lot of times, especially at the high school, kids will come up and, I don't try to sell them the book. That'd be morally wrong. So I just say, well, it's at the library. If you want to check it out, you can read it. And a lot of times what ends up happening is they end up reading it, and they really love it. And then they tell their friends, and it spreads like that. So from 1 year, I went from hardly any sales to suddenly getting more popular, and it's because, it's, but as far as making a living out of it, I'm not trying to focus on that at all. This is more of a hobby that I just really enjoy doing. I've even the kids I've told, oh, I've always wanted to write a book too, how much money do you make? How much money do you make? I was like, well, it's not really about that, and it's hard for them to understand that. It's more I'm doing this because I love it, and if someone wants to buy it, then hey, that's icing on the cake, right? So I've even told the kids, listen, if you're gunning to be a professional author, you're gunning for failure. You need to do it because you love doing it, and that will lead, hopefully, to success. But if not, then it's okay, because you did something that you enjoy. And that should be the main thing that you're getting out of this. You're learning more about yourself through writing, and and all the other stuff. That's just ancillary. It shouldn't matter that much. What you should always write for yourself and if other people enjoy it, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't take suggestions, or, you know, if someone says, I think this might be a little better this way, sometimes they're right, you know. It's always good to be open to suggestion, but you should not be completely just unsure of yourself, waiting for people to, well, I hope they'll enjoy it, you know. You shouldn't, that's always a bad way of going about things, so I think I'm done rambling now.
I found over the years, I've had to switch from, really, I guess I just have to strike an imbalance with my work. So when I first started going to conventions, maybe 7, 8 years ago, I brought my own creatures, my own ideas, my own illustrations, everything out of my head. I had the best time doing it. No one told me what they should look like, size, anything. And at every show, people would ask, what movie's that from? What book's that from? Oh, I think I know him. He was in The Lord of the Rings. But everybody still, they want familiarity. They want to connect with these things and share in that fandom experience. And over the years, I've noticed that, you know, if you build your own stuff, your own true original ideas, you're going to have the hardest time finding an audience. Go home and write your own song, a complete original piece, and see where you get to play it from. You have to fight tooth and nail to get off the couch, to get out of the garage. So over the years, as I moved more to full-time professional, I had to change that balance from my own stuff to I've got to do what clients want, I've got to do what people recognize for the most part. Luckily, I still love the craft. I love the challenge of achieving that look. So I don't feel I've had to compromise anything. The fact that I get to wake up each day and work all day on The Goblin King from the Hobbit movie because some fan wants it, like, well, that's awesome. I love that. We both love that movie. So, I mean, it's still a win-win, even though I don't feel betrayed that now all I have to do is all the popular stuff, things, you know. I'm working on my own collection of creatures based on popular myths from around the world. The kobold out there is the first one in that, and that word, some people may know that from Dungeons and Dragons, but, you know, it's a German word for goblin, and it's been around for centuries, you know, a couple hundred years, I believe. And the next creature is the kappa from Japan, and, you know, a few of you may be familiar with that creature, but even that one I have to explain over and over again. But my own collection is going to be these myths, and if I have to stand and explain and have placards that explain the myths, then I want to do that with my own work. But my day-to-day work, my studio work, you're going to be able to look at it and see what movie it's from. And so that's the balance I've had to strike.
I think with the uniqueness of my work, because there's tons and tons of books out there, is personally that all of my characters, except for a few, are based on people that I've interacted in my life, but I tweak them a bit to fit my world. So it's pretty fun to have like my best friend being the oh my gosh boys type valley girl, and, you know, because there's girls like that out there, and there's, you know, the nice guy next door that doesn't get the girl and all that stuff. But since, especially with local people, which obviously since I'm local, that's where my fan base starts, is like, oh, I think I know this person, or oh, I have a friend like that, and it starts spreading. And, you know, I mean, just personal recommendation is the best thing for that. And my connection to, I guess, popularity is everybody went to high school. My books are set in high school. Maybe you didn't enjoy high school, maybe you did, doesn't matter. But that's that common that we have, but mine has ghost and stuff like that. So just take something that everybody is familiar with, that everybody has to go through and live with life, and then just kind of put my own personal twist on it. Because, like I said, I found out early in life that there's amazing book characters in the world. We just have to have the openness to find them.
Any questions from the audience? No? Yes, sir.
So for Nicholas and Morgan, when you're writing, when you go to watch a movie or anything, do you feel like when you start writing that maybe you start writing something and you go, oh, you know what, that was in a movie I watched a couple of weeks ago. How do you separate all that when you're watching something or even reading a book where you don't feel like later on down the road you start writing and you go, oh, that reminds me of that character?
Well, actually, I do have like references to like some science fiction in my works. You know, it's some characters' names, for example, or they're more just like nods. As far as like actual scenes that are similar,